Welcome back to AJHD, the podcast where real stories sound faker than our sleep schedules.
I'm Aaron,
And I'm Audrey.
and today's episode is packed with bad decisions, chaotic exes, and a restraining order or two.
That's right. We're diving into everything from secret kids to missionary stalkers.
If you like drama that's not your own, hit that like button and subscribe. It actually helps a ton.
Let's get into it. I keep meeting my birth mom, but she doesn't know it's me. She had me when she was 14, and I, 24 male, was given up for adoption. My parents told me about her growing up. I still have the letter she wrote me that she asked if they could give it to me if they wanted. It's crazy reading it sometimes and knowing it was a literal child who wrote it saying she's sorry she couldn't be my mom, but she hopes that I'm happy. She was open to having contact, but we moved for my dad's job when I was 11. Then it seemed impossible to find her. But luckily, I did. She's working at this small restaurant and I keep going, but she doesn't know it's me. We talk sometimes, and she seems like a nice lady. Sometimes when she says something like, "Do you want a refill, honey?" or uses another term like that, I want to just tell her. I don't know why it makes me nervous. We talk sometimes and she seems really genuine. If it's not super busy, she's more open to talking about random stuff. I literally drive 2 hours to come eat at this place just to see her. And it's like she knows me already because I'm there once or 2 times a week for the past 3 months, so she always says hi with a big smile. Man, if she only knew.
That is so cool.
That is
and
wild.
he's not trolling because it's his mom. He has the right to do that for 50 years before he reveals himself,
Yeah.
or not at all.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is it's kind of just whatever route you decide
Right.
you want to take with it. But we have an update.
Yes.
5 days later. Well, you guys, I did it. I told her. And yeah, it was pretty heavy. My heart was even beating so fast. I keep trying to think of how to tell her. Many of the comments on my last post here mentioned writing her a letter just how she wrote a letter for me. Originally, that was the plan, but for me, it felt like I just needed to say it. Oh, really quick, I want to say thanks to everyone for their love and support, mostly to all the birth parents out there who shared their stories with me. That's what really helped push me to have the courage to confront her. It meant so much to me, so thank you. Everything happened day before yesterday, by the way. I did wait for her to be done with her shift, and that was when they were closing the restaurant already. I waited in the parking lot. We said hi, and we said hi when she saw me at first, but then I told her there was something serious that she needed to know. First, told her sorry for keeping it from her for this long. She didn't react until I actually pulled out her letter. She brought the letter. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
And she started bawling from there, like screaming and crying at the same time, and didn't even have to finish the whole "I'm your son" speech. She just saw and knew. It was crazy. Next thing I know, she's hugging me instantly, but then she pulled back and asked if it's okay to hug me. Of course it is. And we're just there hugging and crying in the parking lot. It hit her hard though. Her legs gave out for a second, so I had to actually hold her up while she's still hugging me for a minute. What really got to me was her saying to me, "Look how big you got." Also, hearing her cry made me cry too. She went back to open the restaurant up. She wouldn't take no for an answer. We had coffee. Ate a slice of pie inside, and talked. So many things we talked about. She told me the second time I came to the restaurant, she got a feeling, but for her, it was hard to believe it was me. So that feeling she had, she just pushed away as some sort of
Yeah,
grasping
for sure.
for something. Because she told me for years after I was adopted, she saw kids that would be my age and used to think they were me. Then she would be crying in public. It messed with her mind a lot and made her really depressed. So she didn't want to do the same when she saw me, like getting her hopes up and whatnot. She says I look so much like my biological dad when he was younger, though. We talked about him too. They stayed in contact with each other in case I ever reached out to one of them, so it'd be easier to contact the other. I didn't have hope about finding my biological dad since he was never mentioned, so I'm glad they both planned this for future scenarios. That's
so cool.
so responsible.
Right? And at 14,
So mature. That's crazy. She told me about how they wanted to keep me, especially my biological dad. He didn't want me to be adopted, but he knew they had to because they were just kids. It took him a long time to get past it after I was born. That's why he didn't leave anything, because he didn't want to believe that he might not ever see me again. We talked for hours, almost till 2 in the morning. They closed at 11. She just wanted to know everything about me, but her main thing was, am I happy? Were my parents good to me? Did I have a happy childhood? And I did. I told her, thank you for helping me give me this life. We both cried again. She cried the most. Everything was emotional for her. Sometimes this person's grammar is terrible. and going like verbatim for what they said. It's tripping me up. Sometimes she would look really happy, but then get sad again. After my 18th birthday, she was hoping I would find her. That's why she stayed in the same city. But since I didn't, she always thought maybe I resented her. Wasn't told I'm adopted, or maybe had decided it was better not to have her around. That's crazy because from the parental aspect, you don't know what they know.
Right.
And there's so many like routes that could go down.
That's some crazy hope.
It made me feel bad for not telling her sooner. She told me it's not my fault though, and I did it at the right pace. She's honestly so sweet. The way she kept looking sometimes makes you think, how can someone be a total stranger your whole life and then look at you with so much love? It's wild. We learned so much about each other. She asked me if we could have another dinner soon and keep talking. And if at some point in the future, if I'm interested, to come over to her house and I can meet her husband. That all sounded really great. We exchanged numbers. After I left, she sent a text telling me thank you for giving her this gift she didn't know would ever come. My girlfriend came over and she hugged me while I cried. It wasn't sad. These were happy tears. Everything went better than expected. We have another update. Met my biological dad for the first time ever, and I'm very happy about it. 17 days after the first update.
This guy's moving fast in a good way.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's actually kind of like a long time if you can quite like with all of that just laid on him and her to do it again 12 days later. I mean, but of course, like the anticipation anxiety, I'd probably just have an aneurysm and die at that moment.
The waiting would absolutely destroy
Yeah.
me.
Oh, for sure.
Lots of you asked to let you know how it goes in meeting my biological dad, and to say it was emotional was an understatement. I've been feeling so many things since this all happened. We met a few days ago, was originally supposed to be almost 2 weeks ago, but stuff kept coming up, work, and then I got sick, but we made it happen. To be honest, this was more nervous for me because I didn't know anything about him. With my bio mom, it was different because I watched her from afar. I asked bio mom if she could be there because she knows him. She was already crying. He was already crying before we even got to him. This guy is strong too, so he pulled me in for the biggest bear hug ever and started crying. He told me he wants me to know that they loved me so much and he loves me still to this day. I lost count how many times he came back in for one more hug. He kept saying, "Thank you, God," looking at my face, the feelings. We had so many of them. I'm sure to everyone at the park, it was weird seeing 3 people just crying. My bio dad said he cried so many times just driving over here he didn't think he'd have any more tears left in him. He brought gifts too, which was a surprise, but it was really sweet. I told him I don't have to keep them, but he insisted. One of the gifts was a teddy bear holding a picture frame of him at the hospital holding. He was stop. He was 15 years old. It's still crazy to realize that. And then the other thing was a journal. The journal thing was stuff he said he started writing to me years after I was adopted. He was in therapy and thought that it helped him cope, thinking he would give them to me one day. His way of still feeling connected to me. I haven't read everything yet, but some of the pages were his thoughts, and like if he's talking to me in person. It felt like conversations we might have had. How he felt when they found out she was pregnant, then the adoption. Everything going on in his mind when he first got to hold his baby. I didn't even know he was at the hospital too. It was not what I was expecting. It really got to me. I read some of what he wrote me last night and it got me crying. I'm sad to think how much this affected them emotionally for years. Also, I think it's pretty sweet he wanted to write this for me, had that thought about me. We talked about his own life, which was pretty hard, his struggles with home life and the feelings he had about giving me up. Then he wanted to know everything about me. Basically, the same questions bio mom had. I made sure they knew that they made the right decision because my life really was pretty great. He looked like he wanted to cry when he knew that because that's all they ever hoped for me. My bio mom left a bit after we were more comfortable so we could talk more in private. From there, he told me stories about how he met my mom. Sometimes he'd point to stuff he noticed about me that reminds him of her or me and having similar likes. Example, I love eating mangoes. I can eat them all day. That's what I brought when we went.
Hang on.
Yeah. Example, I love eating mangoes. I can eat them all day. And that's what I brought when we bought snacks for the park. He told me my bio mom was obsessed with mangoes. 7 months. before she got pregnant. While pregnant, she craved them even more. Just cool info to know. It's just random stuff. I still like the stuff that we have in common, both like hiking, playing pool. He was a swimmer in college. My bio dad was really open about sharing everything. He hoped it would happen again and prayed every day to see me again because he had so many things he wanted to tell me. Overall, good first meeting. I told him about this. He's open to the idea of meeting my parents. After I told them about all of this because they definitely want to meet my bio parents again if I'm comfortable with that. Obviously, if my bio parents are too. Let's see when that happens. Me and my parents met up yesterday to have breakfast so I could tell them everything. These are his adoptive parents.
Right, right.
My mom was so happy how it went. She actually cried too when I was telling them about my bio parents' reaction. My dad was proud because he knew how hard it was the months after finding my bio mom and not really wanting to make contact yet. I'm really happy to have everyone's support. Finding them and meeting them was hard, but it was so worth it, and seeing their reactions made it feel worth it. I'm just realizing this has turned into a long post. My bad. Writing this has been therapeutic for me, kind of thinking back to everything that happened, feeling really grateful, wanted to share. Again, want to say thank you to everyone who's been on this journey with me, everyone who sent me their own stories, their love, their encouragement. You guys have beautiful hearts, and I'm happy I have somewhere to talk about it and receive so much love back in the community.
It's crazy to hear how literally all interests were on all four sides, mom, dad, and adoptive mom, dad, all interests at the all times were for the kid
I think
and
that's
the
so rare.
well-being. It's insanely rare.
Yeah.
That kid doesn't need to buy a lottery ticket. He
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah. That's so wholesome. I really love that for them.
The dad journaling thing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The picture frame got me. I didn't think the journaling thing was going to get me. And then, oh man.
All right, so for my story, it is titled Fiance, 26 female, not happy to find out I, 26 male, was a clown. Throwaway account, but this is such a specific situation that I'm certain she'll see it anyways, but my friends won't. So some context. I'm a pretty successful graphic designer. I was already working from home for a lot of projects for a long time before everyone started self-quarantining and practicing social distancing. While I am definitely not part of the essential workforce, I've still managed to find some work to keep me busy. My fiance has been furloughed from work and as such has been staying home with me, and we've been spending a lot of quality time together. One night we were having fun and joking together, and I jokingly said that everyone does weird things for money when they're in school, like start an Etsy or sell feet pics. She joked back and fake accused me of selling drugs. I told her it wasn't anything illegal, illicit, or nothing related to sex or drugs, but then accidentally let it slip that it was just embarrassing to me personally. And then after a second, she stopped laughing because it became real. We talked about it, and I said I didn't want to talk about it because it's super embarrassing and it isn't who I am at all. She said that she understood and gave me space about it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But after that couple of days, she seemed uncomfortable, and when I asked her about it, she admitted she was concerned about what I did for money. I told her it wasn't anything huge, I just really didn't want to talk about it, and I wished her to respect that and to trust me. And so he like kind of let it slip that, I did something, and he was all right.
Yeah.
But I could not tell her, not knowing was beginning to genuinely upset her. That night, I thought long and hard, and this is the woman I want to marry, so I should be open about my past. So, relenting and told her the truth. I used to be a clown. She was unhappy that it was something I hid from her, but it was a period of my life over the course of 2.5 months and 12 parties. She has been cold to me since, and that really sucks because we've been spending a lot of time together and we aren't really talking as much as we have been. From what I understand, she's probably more upset that I had to be pressed to tell her than admitted on my own volition, and I think I may have violated her trust. Honestly, the clown thing just never came up because who talks about their part-time jobs from almost 5 years ago? It's not on my resume, and it was before we started dating, but I did end up sitting down with her and telling her everything. Now I'm so scared that was a mistake because of how she's acting now. She hasn't told anyone, and though we haven't really argued either, But now I'm wondering if I'm just reading into how she's acting and obsessing over this new piece of information I put into her world. It feels like there's a new distance between us. Now, I wasn't hiding the fact that I was a semi-professional clown out of malice. I wasn't part of any unions or anything, just kind of a performer for hire, but more out of embarrassment because it's far away from the type of work I do and the person I am today. Honestly, it's not a dark period of my life or anything, and I think the story itself is interesting. I'm one of those types that think some bad decisions can make good stories to a degree, but it's not something I like to talk about because while it is an objectively fun story, it doesn't have a particularly good ending. My act was very specific and weird. Only 2 or 3 friends know about it. I think because they were at the party where I got the idea to perform as a clown for money, and I literally just used the same costume from that party for my acts. What is happening? What kind of clown is he? All things considered, I was pretty successful for what amounted to some weekend gigs. I didn't want it to be something weird that would follow me for the rest of my life, so I was secretive about it for those couple of months. I always paid in cash, never check, and this was before electronics were huge, as in I didn't have, Venmo or PayPal. So you always got cash, never check. You gotta pay me under the table with that clown money.
Yeah.
I surprisingly made a few $1,000s that I had put towards some of the fun things I own, gaming systems, and electric skateboard, but I stopped when that terrifying clown hoax of 2016 was happening and heard that people were getting ready to gang up and beat up on clowns, so I thought it was best to cash out and hang up the clown costume, so to speak. Also, because I know it'll be asked, back in uni, I was an athlete as well, kind of. I was part of a martial arts club where we would perform martial arts choreography at certain school events. It was kind of like color guard, but with punching. When I told the fiance this during our first few months dating, she made fun of me relentlessly for days, but she ultimately thought I was kind of cool. Anyway, I put that athleticism in my act where I'd break boards and do some parkour, but I'd also do some clown stuff like smack myself in the face with a whipped cream in a dollar store pie crust and talk in a stupid voice and trip. It was fun because I was making little kids laugh and impressing them more than I was scaring them. Sometimes I get a parent involved and have them steal my clown nose and run away. I'd trip and fall chasing them at first, which would set up the parkour chase scene of my act. After I put some distance between us, by the way, it's hard to convince big dads that yes, I will absolutely catch up to you, and it will be much faster than you think. The kids love the act, and I learned I would generally get paid more if I involved a family, with plenty of warning beforehand of what I was capable of. This guy's low-key so proud. Also, I never ever advertised this. This was just word of mouth, and I think all of my clients knew each other in some way and knew me as basically a friend of a friend. Relative comment. Dude, why are you acting like being a clown is on par with serial killing as a part-time job? I personally would have found that super funny and endearing. I think your girl's reaction is really weird and uncalled for. So, this comment, I don't think the girl is upset because he was a clown. I think it's more that he didn't tell her and he let her imagination run wild, probably feeling anxious for days and all for something so minor. If my fiance didn't trust me enough that he refused to disclose that he was a clown, I'd find that upsetting. So she was probably like, did you fucking serial kill people?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a clown. She's like,
Oh.
yeah, you're a fucking clown. What do you mean you were? You are. You know,
Still
was.
are
Yeah.
a clown.
Okay, so these are our comments too, but then there's an update. It says, let's be honest, with that buildup, my first thought would totally have been stripper and or call boy.
Mhm.
And frankly, I also thought too, like he was doing weird clown things,
Yeah, nefarious
Say, yeah.
activities.
And frankly, I'd also have been a bit put off by the fact that he didn't say it, but made me think who knows what for days and everything. It's just extremely weird. OP on how he got into being a clown. Well, to be fair, I didn't do it because I was hurting for money. It started out as a favor to a friend that ended up snowballing into a paying gig that paid for some fun toys and knickknacks and a whole lot of pizzas. I know that it wasn't her intent to make me feel ashamed of it, and I don't hold it against her other than comments have pointed out she basically might just be getting stir crazy. It sounds like this could be just a crazy kink and they're just passing this dude around a friendship group.
Yeah.
Like,
Something is like It's not
It's a shirtless clown. Yeah, he didn't say shirtless, but he said he's athletic multiple
yeah.
times, and
There's, like, something weird to it, but it's not necessarily, like, harming anybody involved.
yeah, that's like our story where he had a hobbit party because he liked people's feet for his birthday.
I feel more strongly about that one than I do about this.
Yeah. Update. Wow. So, I wasn't expecting this to blow as much as it did, or like at all. I haven't spent a lot of my work day reading all, I have spent a lot of my work day reading all the comments and replies and tweets. Fiance and I sat down and talked about it. I told her about this post because I was genuinely concerned about what I should do in this situation, and I have a bad habit of joking about bad situations sometimes. But we had a civil discussion. She told me that the reason she was acting distant was because, like some of you said, she thought I was lying about the clown thing. The reason I was embarrassed about it is because I didn't fully commit to it. No matter how it is phrased, telling someone you were a party clown for 3 months either gets met with, wow, that's cool, or holy crap, what a lie.
Mhm.
And she, like so many of you, went with the latter. So we talked about it like adults. I calmly explained that I was not lying and that story is stupid and inconsequential, but the circumstance in general of being a clown from start to finish is unbelievable in a way. I got the idea of being a clown at a costume party when a former friend told a drunk me he thought my costume was fun and I should be a clown for his nephew's birthday party. I thought he was joking until he actually contacted me about it next Saturday and said he'd pay me $200 for the whole day.
Hell yeah.
Being 21, that's a lot of scratch for being an idiot for a bit.
Truly.
So I did it, and then it just turned into a thing. I told her I stopped being a clown because I didn't want it to get out that I was one so publicly. And it was just around the time I kept seeing posts on Twitters and Tumblr about people getting together to go hunt clowns. And I felt that even if it was fake, the chance of it being real and it happening to me was not really one I wanted to take.
Mhm.
It was all fun for a bit. If I had been a clown for a year and a half or something, I'd probably have told more people about doing it. But the period comes off as kind of a lie. If you need proof, literally read half the comments on this post. My fiance is not crazy and high maintenance. She's normal, a little wild sometimes and kind of cooped up, but I love her all the same. Anyway, she believes me, which I'm grateful for. I apologized for not telling her sooner, and she apologized for pressing me to talk about something so clearly weirdly polarizing. Like, really, this wasn't so much of a post asking you all to take sides in the matter like you all are, so seemingly ready to do, but more like asking advice on what I should do and to try and bridge the gap in communication. She still seems to have some reservations, so I promised her that I would try and do my act for her in the park when the quarantine is lifted. She asked me to do it for her now, but I told her our apartment is too small and filled with things that might break. I talked to her in my clown voice, and she hated it because she said it in her words. Sounds like Goofy on speed. Thank you, everyone. Wow. Of all the shirts I could be wearing today, I'm wearing a Goofy.
Gosh.
And it says, I don't give a yuck. Here's just two comments, two replies. I had the sense that you were probably also, I had the sense that it was probably more difficult for you to come clean about this, since when you told her about the martial arts thing, her first reaction was to mock and ridicule you for days. I would honestly understand you hesitating to open up about that part of your life up to someone who is so willing and happy to make you the butt of the joke. So he was kind of like, they were like, so the OP's like, thank you. You understand. For us, it's water under the bridge, and she has since apologized, and we watch martial art movies together. Sometimes at her suggestion, which is also another reason amongst many I asked her to marry me. Final one is, have you brought up to her that the fact that she made fun of you relentlessly for doing martial arts might have played a part in your reluctance to tell her about this part of your life? If you want to be trusted with information, you have to act like a trustworthy partner. And the OP font, it's kind of repetitive, but it says the comment section was actually really insightful, and she read the comment and brought it up in our conversation. Thank you for your input, truly. So what a weird story. I feel like if he was telling me this in person, he'd be stuttering a lot and talking real fast like us, basically.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, get to the good part, man.
Yeah, tell us what we actually are missing and need to know. That was a crazy
Yeah.
long way to get around to it. I wonder, yeah.
They're both probably just spazzes.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I have a story that is titled Girlfriend, 27 female, got massive tattoo for me, 31 male. I've been with my girlfriend for almost a year. I've always made sure she knew that I wanted to take things very slow, and I didn't want anything too serious right now. I've only been divorced for a year, and I have primary custody of my kids, 2 and 4. So they are and have always been my priority. I can't stress how clear I was about keeping our relationship casual. Anyway, I have a lot of tattoos. I won't pretend like they're all super meaningful, but most of the bigger pieces are related to my hobbies, friends, family, random stuff I'm into. My girlfriend only had the tiniest tattoo on her ankle. I was away last week doing the Vegas bachelor party road trip thing, and she texts me that she has a surprise for me and sends me a picture of the tattoo. It is a tree that starts at where the ass meets the leg. Not sure the name for that. And ending on the back of her neck. So
Damn.
very
Butt
large,
cheek all the way up.
very large for like only having a tiny ankle tat.
Right.
Her explanation is just that she liked my tattoos, so she wanted to get similar ones, but in her own design. And she did it to honor me. She says she got it for me. She went to a crappy artist, so it looks pretty bad. And the design isn't too great itself, which I think defeats the purpose of honoring someone. And they mean literally nothing to her. Between her copying my tattoos and having genuinely bad tattoo covering her entire backside, I really don't find her attractive anymore. It's honestly a huge mood kill. Yikes. I'm starting to consider just breaking up with her because what she did seems too insane. On the other hand, we've been dating for almost a year and I'm really into her, and she now has this giant tattoo that's honoring me. So breaking up would suck. Opinions, lots of question marks. The TLDR, girlfriend got huge back piece that is a copy of many of my tattoos conglomerated into one in an attempt to honor me, but I just find it a big turnoff.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a town where a lot of people get tattoos like that and stuff. And, that tattoo is the tattoo's honoring him is a tattoo honoring their dead friend.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Also, you don't have to put it on the other person. Like, oh, I did this like for you.
for sure. I don't even have this tattoo, but like the group that I hung out with, like when they were in high school, before I met them when I was 18, they all had like it's called poison, but it's in a Chinese or Japanese, like, and so
Yeah.
you basically had to just be like a super drinker, close original part of the group. That's why I said I didn't get it, but a girl went out like years later and got it, and it wasn't exactly received with the greatest, and I think it ended up because like she was still like OG, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it ended up kind of like fading away, but like it's also like people,
It's such a cringy
but
thing to do.
yeah.
Yeah, this girl, I dated this guy. He was the worst. And this girl I knew dated him after. And they were like one of those relationships where you like jump in so quick and you're like all for it. And she has in like the worst text. It's like the New England Gothic.
Oh my
His
goodness.
name filled in like block letters in an arch that goes like above her stomach and under. Yeah, but like his name and like solid, stark, just like
Like
completely
like
blacked
not
out.
cover upable.
They're not together anymore, turns out. We're going to go through some comments now. A commenter said, "She's crazy. That is so completely effing insane. I would run so far. If she got a tattoo to commemorate something special between you two, meh. But to copy your tattoos, batshit crazy. And ones that were so personal to a life before her." The OP chimes in. "I haven't explained what they all mean to her, so she might not know that the one tattoo is commemorating my friend, but still, isn't it pretty crazy?" Another commenter, "It's even crazier that she doesn't know the meaning of them. It's just like she wants to just wear your skin." Someone else chimes in, "She got a detailed butt to neck tattoo finished in one setting. I won't lie, I'm kind of impressed. That's also really scary."
That's insane.
She sounds nuts though, and you don't talk about any of her good qualities other than being your dream girl in bed, so dump anyway, I guess. OP, it's not done yet, but yeah, she sat there for 8 hours getting this crappy tattoo. She does have really good qualities, but I never saw her as a future wife material anyway, you know? Commenter, if you never saw her as future wife material in the first place, then why is this even an issue? Just break up with her and move on. Why do you need the validation of strangers to convince you to do something it seems like you already know you want to do? OP, two reasons. One is that despite not wanting to get married right away, I still really like I'm still really into her, and this came out of left field. And the other is if I do break up with her, she's probably going to feel pretty bad now that she has a giant tattoo on her back. You can't really, like,
I mean,
you can't have that keeping you in a
make
relationship.
lemonade out of it still.
Yeah. A user commented, as harsh as it may sound, the tattoo really isn't your problem. That was a crazy, crazy thing to do and not communicate, and you are in no way responsible for all the negative fallouts she will have to suffer because of it. When told to just let his girlfriend live with a bad decision tattoo, it would also give me peace of mind that somebody out there doesn't have the same tribute tattoo as my buddies, and I have for a friend that's passed. Granted, she removed the text, so it doesn't mean much without it, but I'd still rather that not be on her. That's wild.
That's
We have an update.
okay. Thank God. I'm like, dude.
9 days later. Quick update. We broke up. I tried to stick it out, but the tattoo was too much of a turnoff, and I just didn't find her attractive anymore, which is the opposite of what she had intended with it. The breakup went about as expected. She completely lost it. And yes, she was mad. She thought it would lead to something more serious eventually. Okay, but when you're that clear, that's not on you that she has that delusion.
Yeah.
Like if you were as clear as you were with us, I mean, you never really know
And he
what.
said he made it, and he emphasized he
Yeah.
made it clear and that this was out of left field.
Yeah. My artist agreed to finish the piece for her, and he will cover up the bits that match my tattoos. It should be very easy since there wasn't any shading yet. I'm glad she agreed to see him because now her tattoo has a chance of looking decent and I can be certain that it will be properly covered up. I tried to get her to explain to me why she thought it was a good idea, but all she kept saying was that she truly believed I would like it and she thought it would help move our relationship to the next level. I told her she should see a therapist and she told me to F off. So there you have it.
Wow.
That's yeah, that delusion is not your fault, my friend. We have some final comments. Someone says, and it's in quotes, I told her she should see a therapist and she told me to F off. Well, shit. Clearly the tattoo wasn't thought through very well. Now she has a permanent reminder to never do something like that again without proper self and peer consultation. I actually think this worked out well for you. OP. Hopefully she's learned and it was a big mistake to make someone else and a costly one, I'm guessing. OP. I'm paying for the cover up. Figured it's the least I could do. Someone says, you must really care about tattoos looking not shitty. Kudos. OP. It's not so much that, although it does bother me. Her having the tattoo that my friends and I all have to commemorate our friend that died bothers me a lot. She got it for all the wrong reasons and didn't even know what it meant. I just want to know that it's covered up. And the kids drawing one just creeps me out. Looks like a kid's drawing, apparently.
For sure.
Another commenter. Did she know the meaning of them? OP. Well, she knew that the drawing by my kids. Oh, it's a drawing by his kids. Well, she knew that the drawing by my kids was what it was. It's obvious it's a 4-year-old that drew it. She didn't copy that tattoo exactly, but used his same art style for a tattoo of her and her dog. I don't think she knew that the one was a memorial for my friend, but either way, it has a skateboard in it and she doesn't skate at all. Just weird that she copied it. One of the ones she copied is so stupid. I got it when I was 16 and I think it's funny now because of how stupid it is and now she has it on her. OP, when asked about how huge the tattoo was, it went from ass to neck diagonally across her entire back, just the outline because she only did one session. It included a memorial piece for a friend that died and a copy of my kid's drawing. It wasn't very well done either.
Oh man, especially like something like that is that it's cool. Like if you guys want to get like, let's say if I had a lady that was into tattoos, it's cool to like get tattoos that would be similar. Like let's say if you looked good together, they complemented each other, but you have to literally think they have to look good on their own. You know what I mean? And not be someone else's. Like I get that maybe she could move on to another relationship and someone would be like, "Hey, cool tattoo," because they know nothing about it. But it sounds like the guy at least knows what quality work is, and this is not. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, I get it. I have tattoos that don't have meaning. I have tattoos that are done in really shitty quality. It's on you forever. So it's like if you have somebody who can like help guide you through those things, and it's, yeah, like get something low key matching. It doesn't have to be like 100% matchy matchy unless you're my best friend Jams, who has sweet tattooed on her. And
That's
I have
true.
dude, like, dude, where's my car? But even then, that's still kind of low
Well,
key. You
and
know
they
what I
can movie
mean?
reference it too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just, like, not somebody's name tattooed on you forever, or yeah, somebody's dead friend memorial is honestly so cringy.
All right, you're going to love this one. I found out my manager has an after work podcast where he talks about his employees. No, you're not reading the title wrong. I thought my friend John was pulling my leg when he told me, but he recently found out and told me about it because I was mentioned in said podcast.
Oop.
For background, this is an office job. I am interning as a phone rep mostly while also in college. John showed me the podcast that someone showed him after finding it, and that's how I found out. Long story short, it's one of our managers, Josh, and his friend on the podcast. And his friend doesn't work at the company. He doesn't solely talk about his employees on the podcast. He also does sports and politics. But the segment where he did was work stories related to his job, and I'll refrain from the actual title for obvious reasons.
He sounds like the worst.
Oh, he probably. I mean, and he's
Sports
talking politics on
sports
it.
and politics.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the clips John showed me was about a girl who went on maternity leave and the girl who replaced her temporarily. And he made jokes comparing them, using their first names and even calling her replacement an idiot. However, the clip about me involved my Instagram. Here's another. She says, long story short, I haven't used Instagram in years. And my last post was literally 4 years ago. So start thinking math in your mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have had it private, and I've since deleted it this week. On the podcast, he talked about how some of the managers follow each other and some of the employees, but that there were a few he didn't follow that led him to search them to learn more about his team. And that's how he came across mine.
Yikes.
He said I had a hidden talent of dance from high school that I didn't tell him about. And he joked it was because I didn't want to be hit on.
That's disgusting.
Keep in mind she's in college,
Yeah.
hasn't posted in 4 years.
That's disgusting.
He also said my boyfriend must be happy with my flexibility, even though I'm single, and his friend said that was the reason I posted and that my face wasn't doing it. Josh also joked if I was still flexible, and his friend said to drop something to have me bend down.
Ew.
Josh is a jokester at work, but I was floored by his video. It's on YouTube.
Oh my God.
And while it doesn't show his face, his name is in the description, and my friend wants to address it with HR after telling the mother who is on maternity leave. However, he's not sure if anything else we should do beforehand besides having numbers, when we go in that he thinks will be important, and he wants us to go together. So here's my question. Are we handling this correctly? And is there anything else we should do beforehand to get our ducks in a row, perhaps even legally, such as consulting a lawyer? So it actually happened so fast that we have an update before the comments fully even came in. As I'm writing this, I'm no longer working at the company. My coworker and I went to HR according to the advice we received, and we used a YouTube downloader to download the video specifically mentioning employees in case they'd be deleted upon him learning of a potential investigation. I also made sure to tell them that the dance videos he commented about were me from when I was much younger, and we also mentioned his derogatory comments about the coworker on maternity leave.
Yeah.
We gave them links along with a thumb drive containing copies of the videos we downloaded, and we felt like it went fine at the time. We only received one follow-up meeting afterwards to let us know that they spoke to the manager about it, and that meeting was given separately to my coworker and I. The videos were also deleted around that time, and the manager was never fired. The follow-up meeting was the last update we got before months of radio silence, but my ex-coworker and I have a guess to why. All of the managers, including the 2 HR workers at our office, are tight, and they all often go to sushi after close in the same plaza as our office too. So they're all buddies. They also follow each other on social media, although the manager's podcast was never linked to his personal social from what we saw before going to HR. So we weren't exactly expecting much when they're practically friends and post on Instagram photos together, including the HR managers with them as well. It sounds right for HR, right?
You're telling me, bro.
Months went by with no updates following the follow-up, and said podcast manager began to treat me somewhat differently like being short with me or giving me side eyes too. Even the mother on maternity leave made a small complaint after we told her about his comment, but again, nothing came from it to our knowledge. I eventually put in my 2 weeks and that was pretty much it. His podcast channel is still up and posts new episodes, but nothing pertaining to work, coworker stories the last time I checked. I mean, she made some type of change.
Yeah.
I began looking for other work around the time we initially visited HR because he was really came off, he's as a creep. There was another comment from the video about me that I forgot to add, but he joked that he should offer a prize to whoever had the best split at the annual Christmas party as a way to see if I still had them. And the whole thing just felt gross to me. I didn't attend for obvious reasons, but it's creepy just knowing that a manager I thought was completely normal could be such a creep. And then there's a couple comments. HR exists to protect the company, not you. Your mileage may vary, but remember that at all times, HR is not your friend.
Yeah.
Yes, you should 100% take this to HR. Make sure you download a copy of it. I work in HR and I would absolutely be interested in knowing a manager is posting videos.
Yeah.
Oh, 19 now? So the guy was sexually talking about a 15-year-old?
That's disgusting.
And somehow, at least by what OP knows, seemingly no consequences.
Of course.
This is a perfect example of a hostile work environment. Wow.
That's awful.
And I'm sure that like this is one on Reddit. There's probably millions of this going on as we speak.
Ugh.
Millions of cases.
The title of this is Our Dog Sitter Accidentally Fed Our Dogs Traeger Pellets While We Were Out of Town. Really nice kid. Found him on Rover. He did all the things right, except he accidentally fed our dogs Traeger pellets instead of dog food. The pellets were stored in a bag on the floor in the pantry, clearly labeled firewood pellets. We showed him where the dog food was before we left. We left very clear instructions. He kept in touch with us throughout the trip. This morning, he texted the dogs didn't want to eat their breakfast. So sad. When we got home, I see the remaining food and asked my husband, what the hell is in their food bowls? We mixed their food with hot water and goat milk and a prebiotic, so it was like black sludge at this point. Ew. We go upstairs. They have obviously been sick all over our bed. Poor babies were starved for 2 days. They clearly consumed some on the first night. It was in their vomit. I have called their vet and they will call me back because it is a Sunday. Just suggested to keep an eye on them. They have since eaten a regular meal. Hopefully this doesn't make them sick. Before I go into the next part, I just want to add, it sucks that they didn't find the sick mess or whatever that they made, because if that would have been crazy toxic, that's such a dire window that you need to get that animal to the vet and be monitoring
let's
the
say they ate
symptom.
chocolate, like a block of it, or
Yeah, exactly. That's so scary. I'm so glad the dogs are okay. Okay. What would you all do in this situation? My husband called our sitter and informed him of the mistake and is planning on just chatting to him about how dangerous it is and let it being a teaching lesson for him.
I mean, you can't really take, it's a key, this is an actual mess up.
Yeah.
And also 16-year-old, just teenagers, I'm just as not careless, but you tell me how to do something, I'm like, yeah, I know, I heard you.
Yeah.
But they're seriously though, if you don't,
And
just right over.
you could look at, and I mean, I'm dyslexic and have other issues. Sometimes you could look at something and it could be so convincing to you that it is the thing that you're supposed to be getting into, especially if you're a visual person and don't read. And it's you only identify something by the container.
I literally did do that. I've done it twice to the same cookies at the same bodega across from my house.
Yeah.
They're dog treats.
Yeah.
They have icing on them.
Yeah.
The lady, good thing she didn't remember, but
I went to 7-Eleven and homie was pick me up a Snickers. I was like, I got you. Snickers, 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 Snickers. Go to the candy aisle. I'm like, fuck, I know exactly what a Snickers bar looks like. Grab it, get all the way back. And they're like, fuck yeah, or hell yeah, my Snickers. And they're like, this is a Milky Way bar.
Oh.
And I was like, bro, I looked at it for so long. I swear to you. Anyway, so the person says, I just can't help but be very, very angry. Because it's I get that it's a kid and mistakes happen, but I feel like they'll probably beat themselves up enough for it.
So the dogs are alive.
The dogs are alive. But also, if they're on an app to watch other people's dogs, I feel like somebody should know.
For sure. But also, not to give it to the kid, he should have paid more attention. It also does sound like they have a crazy diet for their dogs. Like my parents, their dogs, they put like a scoop of dog food, 2 eggs from the chicken, like a scoop of cottage cheese, a couple probiotics, and mix it all together, and they won't eat it until it's like that, you know?
Yeah.
So like dogs like that, he was probably like, yeah, a bunch of steps, okay, you know, like
Yeah.
teenager stuff. But the dogs being alive is why he would be alive, because I can't say that if you
Crazy.
killed my animals, I'd have to send in the wife and be like, you need to go talk to this kid before I catch a charge.
Oh, I wouldn't
Yeah,
be able to be in the same room as
it's
him.
easy to talk about it, but if it
That would
happens,
be like if a baby I mean, humans get tried in negligence when like a babysitter accidentally like kills a kid. It's like the same thing. Commenter, take the pups to the vet. Who knows what's in that stuff? Alternatively, there's a national SPCA poison control hotline you can call for $99 and get advice immediately. I'm screen grabbing that.
yeah.
Hey, everybody listening, I'm going to go over that one more time. This is very important. There is a national SPCA poison control hotline for your animals. You can call for $99 and get advice immediately. The phone number is 888-426-4435 anytime, day or night. I have used them and they are very good. I should have fact checked this number before, but here it is again. 888-426-4435. OP. Thank you. I called them. They said Traeger pellet. Oh, confirmed. Okay. Thank you. I called them. They said Traeger pellets are not toxic, but could cause gastrointestinal issues such as a blockage or distress. They advise to keep an eye on them. If they throw up their food, take them to the ER. That's so lucky.
I wonder what kind of dogs are they are, because like, you know, those dogs that like eat car keys and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like they just eat anything. I don't know why either. Like a cat, like it smells my vape, it doesn't try to eat it. Like they'll just eat it.
I was just telling somebody I have a very dear friend. I love her so much. She has a cat that will tip over the garbage, rip through a garbage bag. He has stolen sizzling bacon off of a frying pan. Hi, Shauna. If you're listening, say hi to Miko for me. Keep your bacon safe. But my cat, I'm so lucky. He has been alive for 17 years. He'll knock a cup off of the coffee table, but he won't get into garbage. I can leave all my weed and everything out. He won't
Right.
eat
He's
any.
not
I
interested
can't
either.
get him to eat his food to keep him alive and healthy. A cat would just like never do that. Another commenter says, not trying to be contrary, but I personally feel like poison control is wrong in this, unless they looked up specific bag of pellets you have, as different Traeger pellets have different woods and ingredients. Google says, the primary ingredients are various hardwoods like oak, hickory, maple, cherry, depending on the special pellet blend. While the wood is the main component, some blends may include other natural elements used like whiskey staves or flavor-infused oils. The following are just a few that are toxic to dogs. Oak, cherry,
I know oak trees are toxic to dogs.
oak, cherry, peach, plum, horse chestnut, and yew. OP. That's actually a really great point. I did tell them the ingredients: hickory, maplewood, and the brand Kirkland. Good to know, everybody. I did not know that those trees were toxic to dogs. Thank you for your thoughtful, detailed responses. Truly appreciate it. Commenter. I'd be furious and I would involve Rover. OP. To be fair, our dog's food also doesn't have a picture of a dog on it. It's
Mistakes
just
were made on both sides.
it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Move your pellets.
And also, if you've got a cat or dog, an animal with like a specific diet, like if I left, I would be like, literally see like, here's food for day one.
Yeah.
Put this in, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like a made at home meal, basically.
I have a
Just pour, stir, and go.
Exactly. I have a homie who I've dog sat for them a bunch, and they have 2 dogs that have a very, like, special specific diet, but they make it really easy for me
Yeah.
to, like you said, just, like, mix and go.
Right.
Set it and forget it. I do also wanna mention while we're on the topic, because I have learned a lot of things in the last few years of trying to keep my pets alive, that a lot of things that you don't realize are super toxic to animals, including, like, spraying, like, Febreze or, like, really strong detergents in your sheets if your animals, like, sleep on your bed, and essential oil diffusers are really bad for them if you're using stuff that is toxic to cats, like lavender. aloe vera, pothos and philodendron plants, all sorts of really common household things are toxic to animals. So maybe if you're bored, instead of scrolling Reddit, give the old Google a try and type in some common toxic things for pets. If you have pets and you're listening, give them a little kiss on the top of the head for me. Yesterday was National Kiss Your Cat on the top of its little head day. So do as I say. Thank you.
Okay, so my story is titled, Today I Fucked Up by Taking Viagra Daily for Nearly a Year. For a while now, I've been feeling flushed in the face with a ruddy complexion. My face has felt hot, prickly, and I've had a very stuffy nose as if I'm allergic to something. Let's flash back to last April. In April last year, I was prescribed Prozac. Due to an ongoing mental health situation, it seemed to work for me. My mood was elevated, my temper suppressed, everything seemed to be going fine until I began a new relationship. Everything seemed very good, the connection was immaculate, the vibes were good, the petting was heavy. However, I began to notice that things weren't biologically rising in the way that they should. I initially chalked it up to being in my late 30s and that these things might take some time. However, this problem persisted, and in July last year, I spoke with my general practitioner who provided me with a prescription for Viagra, 100 milligrams of which I should take. I proceeded to take the little blue circular 100 milligram tablet every morning alongside my vitamins and normal pills of the day. Things were never better. My sex life was inviolable. I began to feel energy like I haven't felt since my teens, and my great general motivation and drive seemed at an all-time high, until the third or fourth week, that is. A colleague said to me, "Hey, looks like you've been laid out in the sun too long." "Don't think so," I responded, hurrying off to consult a mirror to see that my visage was bright, blotchy, wet red. I chalked it up to sunburn or an allergic reaction for nearly a whole year, trying different creams, lotions to try to quell the redness. All the time, all the while expecting and experiencing tremendous tumescence. And it says not to brag or anything.
Okay.
I finally booked with a different GP with hopes of seeing a dermatologist to curb the red-faced woes. You've been collecting a prescription for Viagra every month for a year, he says upon looking at my file. Yeah, I questioned. You must have a big backstock by now,
Oh
the
my God.
doctor says. And he said, "Are you flirting with flirting with me, doc?"
Oh my God.
"Surely you aren't in need of them every day," the doctor responds. And then it all became clear. These aren't a daily medication at all. They're to be used as and when required. For those who don't know, Viagra causes one's blood vessels to open more readily, causing more plentiful erections, but also flushing sinus stuffness, higher heart rate, and a multitude of other symptoms which could be attributed to other things. So he's got an edit real quick. Said, "Thank you to those who pointed out that I misspelled sildenafil, which is Viagra. I clearly didn't read the packet enough to get the word correct. Thank you for those who thought this could be AI generated bollocks. I assure you it is not. Lastly and finally, thank you to those who called me an idiot. I couldn't agree more. But this is a learning experience, and I now know to always read the label of things that I am prescribed." Some comments say, "I don't even know what to say. This is so idiotic that it must be true." There are also ED meds you do take every day, so this is just a very common case of patient did not read instructions or discuss properly with the doctor. Another says, "Yep, low-dose Cialis, not Viagra, was popping peen pez like candy."
Oh,
Peen pez?
Peen Pez.
Oh gosh, that's such a crazy name for Viagra. Peen
I'm
pez.
keeping that like in the notes in my
Some
brain to pull out at some
OP
point.
himself says, "The peen pez really made my day. I do not profess to be a smart man. After trying a sample of Blue Chew recently, I couldn't help but call it anything else. Peen pez." Or Reddit's just going off like Reddit
Yeah.
does. Let's not pretend that the prescriber had no part in this. Starting a relatively young patient on the max dose isn't great practice. Yeah, and giving him a 90-day prescription on repeat, that's autopilot mode. OP shouldn't stop cold turkey either. Taper off. The doctor really screwed up. Who prescribes enough for daily use at the highest dose? It's astounding how many people don't know anything about the drugs they take daily. Someone said those things should come with instructions or something, just saying.
Like, is it not a red flag that he just has a raging boner every day?
Right?
Like, how are you
Well, at
getting
least he doesn't roll out of bed anymore.
Oh,
It says, right, you have the entire internet at your fingertips. Google your meds.
yeah. What?
This is what happens when guys think with their dicks.
Yeah. Reddit. I love the comments.
It says, I got the same spiel when picking up menopause meds for my wife. It's just protocol.
I have a story about two people, Shad Therion and Taylor Shabiznes. Let's go back to the early hours of February 23rd, 2022. In Green Bay, Wisconsin, investigators were summoned to a suburban home after a chilling call from a grieving mother. What awaited them beneath the staircase would horrify even the most seasoned officers. Responding officer Alex Wanish followed instructions to the basement and was met with something that he later described on body cam as quite a bit of blood. He found a green bucket covered with a towel. Inside, the severed head of Shad. Alongside his head, his genitalia had also been placed in the same bucket. Imagine being his mom.
It's just insane.
Searching the basement, police discovered a torso with arms attached inside a storage tote. Think one of those black and yellow Home Depot totes.
My camping totes.
Camping totes. They're roomy. Perhaps placed there to contain the blood, but notably, most of the blood had actually already been washed away. Investigators also found other body parts, including organs in plastic bags and cardboard boxes, all amid minimal blood, a fact that the medical examiner found suspicious, leading to questions about where the murder actually occurred. Additional remains, legs and lower limbs were located inside a crock pot box found in a minivan linked to Shabiznes. That grim basement scene launched a full-scale investigation from human remains scattered in a home and van to the depths of a crime that investigators would unravel piece by horrifying piece. So the night of the murder, a couple nights prior, we're at February 21st, 2022, 9:30 p.m. Shad, age 24, was picked up by Shabiznes, also around 24-25, from his mother's house in Green Bay. His mother and his partner who lived at that house were away, and a third friend joined them briefly as they smoked cannabis at an apartment somewhere on Eastman Avenue. After the friend departed, Shabiznes and Shad used methamphetamine and ingested trazodone, she later told detectives before returning back to Shad's house. In Shad's basement, the pair began erotic asphyxiation using metal chains. What may have started as consensual sex quickly escalated. Shabiznes strangled Shad until he began coughing up blood. He turned purple and lost consciousness. She continued until death, estimating the process took 3 to 5 minutes. Shabiznes later admitted she enjoyed the act, telling investigators, "I liked it," and even asked, "Do you know what it's like to love something so much you kill it?" She remained with the body for hours, engaging in sexual acts. The next morning, she used knives, including a serrated bread knife, to dismember the corpse. She placed body parts into buckets, totes, bags, and boxes, and even into a nearby minivan. She disposed of the blood, at one point saying, "Police are going to have fun finding all the organs."
Easy.
That's not something somebody says when they're in the sane mind.
There's a difference between pleading insanity and being a psycho.
Yeah, like absolutely not. Something is not right, and adding meth on top of that also. Detective testimony revealed Shabiznes tracked down knives from the kitchen. Serrated knife works best, she said. She confessed she became tired and quote unquote got lazy, leaving some parts behind like the torso and forgetting the head initially. Lab analysis confirmed Shad's DNA on Shabiznes's clothing, blood-stained sweatpants with a profile matching the victim's. Toxicology showed Shad had methamphetamine, marijuana, and cocaine in his system, but the medical examiner clarified these substances did not cause his death. Strangulation was confirmed as the sole cause. The dismemberment was characterized as post-mortem mutilation. There was no hemorrhages associated with the cuts. From here, the story moves into the arrest on March 1st, the mounting criminal charges, including the first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. The legal proceedings that followed, the insanity plea in September of 2022, courtroom disruptions in 2023. Police traced Shabiznes to an apartment complex. The minivan used to transport body parts was found there. Her clothing was covered in blood. She had scratches and minor injuries she claimed were self-inflicted. She had also removed the GPS anklet prior to her arrest on March 1st, 2022, facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault.
Wow. Was she already on ankle monitor before this, or did they give a murderer house arrest
Um, she was on house arrest, like,
prior to this?
right after they, like, went to her house, and I think it was, like, pending, like, them smoking
Oh,
and
they're
all
like,
these
we
things. They
don't
put
have.
a monitor on her, like,
Gotcha.
while they were, like,
Like,
getting
we need
everything
more than
dialed.
72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
Facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault, Shabiznes entered a not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect plea on September 1st, 2022. We're now February 14th, 2023. She attacked her attorney, Quinn Jolly, in court. The judge declined his request for recusal and replaced him with Christopher Froelich in March. In July 2023, the trial featured nearly 30 witnesses. Forensic testimony described strangulation, dismemberment, and necrophilia. Scratches she made, like one for Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court sexy, along with her confessions, framed the prosecution's case.
This lady just like literally did all that shit and is going down with a middle finger in the air, basically.
How can you decapitate somebody and then hours later you're searching on the internet for Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court sexy? She is not right.
And I wonder like how much of this is meth, because like you can go crazy on meth without mental disorders.
Yeah.
You can have mental disorders and 10x that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I wonder, because she sounds like she without the meth would be in prison anyways. Like,
That's what I'm thinking. Cause like, and also too, if you have underlying health issues that like mental health issues that you don't know about, and then you start using drugs and you don't
yeah,
know that it's not from the drugs, like that you are actually mentally unwell. She doesn't seem to have a firm grasp on her behavior or her reality. She's like, yeah, I liked it. Like there's something wrong with her.
right.
The jury convicted her on July 26th, 2023, rejecting the insanity defense, finding her mental state sound at the time. That's interesting. On September 26th, Judge Thomas Walsh sentenced Shabiznes to life without the possibility of parole, stating, "This crime offends human decency, human dignity. I had to protect the public from her." Her father, in a surprising move, extended forgiveness. "I believe everybody makes bad choices. It does no good to hate you." In July 2024, Shabiznes allegedly attacked a prison nurse during treatment for a staple removal. A sergeant intervened. She swung a metal tray and table, resulting in injuries and the use of pepper spray to subdue her. She was charged with battery by prisoner with a repeat offender enhancement and found competent to stand trial in March 2025. On April 4th, 2025, during a preliminary hearing, Shabiznes inexplicably lunged at her attorney, Curtis Jolka, making her second courtroom assault. She was restrained by deputies, and the hearing resumed via Zoom. Jolka subsequently withdrew representing her. So there's like two people now.
Yeah, it's their second lawyer. Well, and also that's what they want. I've learned in the court system that, and it's the dumbest thing. Like, let's say I'm looking at murder and you don't like something your lawyer's doing or wants to take. If you have a case with your lawyer, it's a conflict of interest. So like if I punched him and he's the victim in a new case, that's why some lawyers will like not say or do anything, and they're like, "I'm still your lawyer, dude."
Yeah.
Like, and you fucked up.
Yeah.
They don't really express, like, put that out there, but it happens.
Yeah. In June 2025, Shabiznes and her attorney formally dropped her appeal of the murder conviction. The no merit report filed in late 2024 found no viable grounds. The public defender's office had declined to assign her new counsel, meaning she must either represent herself or hire outside representation. The Court of Appeals formally dismissed the appeal in June 2025. My deepest condolences go to the family and friends of Shad Therion. His life, described by those who loved him as kind, thoughtful, and compassionate, was tragically cut short. I also offer rest to all affected, those who have lost trust, seeking closure. True crime isn't just about shock, it's about remembering victims as real people. Thank you for listening.
All right, so my last story of this episode, even the title is just gonna get you like, oh man. My wife says I need to get over it, but I can't stop obsessing over a prank that ruined my wedding experience and left me furious. Here goes. I had an amazing wedding experience that was completely ruined by a prank my wife and friends played during the garter removal removal? Am I the asshole for refusing to let it go? During the reception, we were all doing the usual wedding games. Eventually, I was told it was time to do the garter removal. As everyone gathered around us in the middle of the dance floor, my wife was sitting in a chair, and my friends brought out a blindfold and told me I would be doing the garter removal blindfolded. I should have had suspicions at their grins, but I've had some drinks, wasn't expecting anything, put it on and tried to be a good sport about it, as everyone seemed like they were having a great time, myself included. As soon as I was blindfolded, however, my wife slipped out of the chair and was replaced by one of my groomsmen. He's a friend of the family I've grown up with, but I would not say we're close. Now I literally cannot stand him, although he's not a bad guy other than my anger at this prank. Sitting in the chair in place of my wife, my groomsman was in shorts with the garter around his thigh. My wife stood behind him and was talking to me as they walked me over to keep me fooled into thinking it was her. On their instruction, I got down on my knees and began reaching for what I thought were my wife's leg. Once I found the leg, I found the garter and began pulling it down. But at that moment, I heard my wife saying, "With your mouth, with your mouth." So I leaned forward and grasped the garter belt in my mouth to the shrieks and applause of the crowd. With the garter in my teeth, I pulled it down his leg, and then my wife actually came around to help me get it over his shoe because it got stuck. Once I had the garter, they told me to stand up and take off my blindfold. When I did, I was smiling because I thought I'd been a good sport and everyone was laughing so hard it seemed like everyone's having a great time. But when I took off the blindfold, everyone burst into even louder laughter. For a moment, the entire energy of everyone at the wedding was focused on nothing besides laughing at me being the sole butt of the joke. It felt awful.
That's so
I was furious. I wanted to say and do a million different things, but I didn't. For some reason, I just felt that pretending it wasn't a big deal was the best defense, that showing anger would be confirming how badly I'd just been humiliated for their delight, and that would have made my humiliation all the worse. So I sucked it up, sleptwalked through the rest of the wedding while doing my best to keep a smile on my face. My wife could tell I was stunned, but she kept going too. She definitely had no idea how badly I was taking it. Everyone was standing around us and we couldn't talk openly about how I felt, at least not without ruining everything, and I didn't know whether I wanted to go there after all the effort and money we put into the wedding. And I kept sucking it up. The next day at brunch and for the most of the next week through most of our honeymoon, at some point, I told myself that my wife didn't mean to hurt me and there was no reason to ruin her wedding memories by telling her that my experience had been ruined. Damn, this guy's like in his own head, like protecting everybody but himself.
yeah.
Been there. But then at the end of our honeymoon, I had had a few drinks and I just couldn't help it. And once I started talking to her about it, I just went off. I told her it was trashy, that it hurt, if not destroyed my trust and sense of intimacy towards her. I was harsh and got carried away. After at first apologizing a bit, she got upset and left me sitting out there. I think I just kept going because I felt hurt and wanted to maybe make her feel bad as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Understandable.
Since, hurt people. Since then, it's been a difficult subject. I've told her I don't want to hear about the wedding. I don't want to write thank you notes, look at pictures. If it was tomorrow, I wouldn't make plans to celebrate our anniversary. Fuck yeah. My wife and I have a lot of strengths in our relationship, but I just can't stop thinking about this and the feeling when I took off that blindfold. I literally cannot stop my mind from replaying it over and over and over, and I get mad again every time. And perhaps the worst part of it is that it's all recorded. We had a professional photographer shooting a video, and in the video, I see at least 4 other people recording it on their phones. Watching the video, I find myself looking at the laughing faces of my family and friends in the video, and there's a part of me that I'd never act on that wants nothing more than to punch them all in their faces. The fact that I know these videos are out there makes it feel like it's constantly happening to me, because
Yeah.
somebody's like, dude, you gotta see this video.
Yeah.
And that's not if it's not popular on TikTok at the
Yeah.
time. Like, so there is an edit. I didn't put any comments because this whole thing's just a wild, sad ride. Wow. Thank you for all the responses. I'm digesting, and I have to say, I'm genuinely feeling better just sharing this, even if some of you don't think I'm in the right. I'm definitely not as angry as when I wrote this, so there's that. Although it does come and go in response to some of your questions. Yes, I created this account to share this. I'm not AI or a bot. I genuinely don't know what karma farming is, but anyone who wants my karma can have it. That is
I
so
hear that.
shit. It was the wedding planner who originally proposed the idea. She had done it at another wedding, apparently, and she coached my wife and friends on how to do it. To drape her dress over his lap, to stand behind him talking to me. He was wearing his same grooming shirt and the coat, but had changed into shorts, a stocking, and flip-flops. A single stocking.
That's so humiliating because, like, they don't get a consent to that, and that's, like,
Right.
their one magical day. It's not just about the bride, it's about both people.
And it's not a prank if it's literally, like, making you like, that would change me as a human. Like, I'd have
Yeah.
trauma. Like, I probably wouldn't be married. I wouldn't handle that well.
No.
Which brings me to, again, to let you know, never to get married.
Yeah, well, also, I just don't like all eyes on me attention and, like, to, like, put somebody in that spot, yeah, and then humiliate them, especially having, like, rotating video of it. It's just you're having to relive that moment, and I don't think that's fair. I think a lot of the wedding stories I hear, the groom it's, like, all about the bride. Like, what about the groom? I
For
don't think
sure.
you should go as far as humiliating them because you think it's funny, and on you saying a prank, like, that's not a prank, I totally agree with because a prank is supposed to be, like, funny to everybody involved. It shouldn't be, like, harming anybody physically or emotionally.
Yeah. My groomsman is now my brother-in-law because he's married to my wife's older sister. What I meant to say is that he's a good guy. We grew up together and I like him, but I didn't consider him a best friend at the time, and now I'm no longer even thinking of him as a friend. In large part because I'm mad at him, I don't think there was a reason they picked him other than he's thin like my wife. I believe my wife when she says she thought it would be funny and that I wouldn't mind. I just don't think she's thought of it from my perspective when it came to concluding this was a funny thing to do. Sometimes I tell myself this is what I'm mad about. It keeps changing, really. A lot of people have asked what I expect my wife to do about it now besides apologize. I don't have a good answer to that and need to think about what that means. My favorite comment thus far is the guy who told me to wash the sand out of my vagina. Haha, fair play. I mean, if I walk into a like a store and there's a bell on the door and two people look at me and I can still bail, I'm fucking out of there.
Yeah.
Like, eyes on me? No.
Like when they turn the lights on at the end of a rave.
Oh no, I'm looking down. And I'm not making eye contact with my friends either.
No, everybody just hightails it out of there.
Right? And that's our episode. If your jaw's on the floor, same.
Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed the chaos, drop us a review or hit us up on socials.
And if you've got a story that could make it on the show, send it our way. Seriously, we want to hear it.
We'll catch you next week.
Later, weirdos.